2015 miniseries Chewbacca. Now, I'm really glad this miniseries exists, first and foremost, because let's face it, especially in the new Star Wars era, Chewbacca hasn't gotten a whole lot of, he hasn't gotten his due, really. Other than he got a little bit in Force Awakens. I got to give him that. He managed to shoot Kylo Ren. Way to go, Chewie. And of course, in the Solo movie, which the fact that Chewbacca actually gets to show off a little bit is one of the reasons that I actually like that movie. Unfortunately, almost no one saw it compared to other Star Wars movies, of course. So yeah, I'm really glad that this miniseries does exist so that we can at least go back and read this old thing and, you know, see a little bit of Chewbacca in his full Wookiee glory. Also, not in Han's shadow a little bit, which is also a good thing because you don't see a lot of Chewie solo ever. Maybe you do in some of the other canon and everything. I seem to recall from the old EU, which I read a lot of. Many of them are on my shelves back here. Yeah, he was always with Han, which was fine. Not a big deal at all. You kind of expected it. But it is nice to see him on his own a little bit. So the basic story of this is Chewie's on this mission that it's never spelled out exactly what it is until the very end. But he's on a mission. His ship crashes because everyone's ship crashes. This is science fiction, and people's ships crash because they got to get onto a planet unexpectedly somehow. So anyway, so he's there. He's crashed on this planet where there's this horrible person that is basically enslaving a lot of the population to mine some sort of goop that they need. Oh goodness, what was it for? For blasters. Yes, something for some goop from some beetle larva that the Empire uses to power its blasters. And so, of course, he's enslaving these people and gonna mine it. And honestly, that part of it gets a little convoluted. I'm not sure exactly what's going on because first he's gonna enslave them to mine the stuff. Then the dude's gonna you know what? I'm just gonna kill them all and get the resources to mine this to sell the stuff to the Empire somewhere else. I don't. It gets a little weird. It's kind of like the writers just decided, no, we need to up the stakes, and oh yeah, they're all gonna die. Why? Reasons. Because we need a really good reason for Chewie to rip the arms off of these people, which yeah. But in any case, that isn't the main issue of the story anyway. The main issue of the story is to showcase Chewbacca, which basically he goes and he makes mincemeat of these slavers. We'll just call them slavers for lack of a better term. And you can really tell that they're afraid of him. Not because they know he's Chewbacca, the co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon, but because he's a Wookiee, which is really interesting. That kind of really puts into perspective a lot of what we know about, you know, the Empire as far as them specifically really trying to enslave Wookiees. In the old EU, it was at least in part because of their natural mechanical aptitude. And I'm not sure if that's carried over into the new canon or not. I honestly don't know. But what has carried over is the fact that these guys are warriors, that they are very tough, and everybody knows it. So these guys, these slavers, they're deathly afraid of Chewie. Once they know that the slavers have a Wookiee working with them, yeah, they're pulling out all the stops, and they're literally blowing up the mine to try to kill Chewie, which of course doesn't work out. Now, Chewie, of course, for the most part, he wants to just get back to his mission, but he's persuaded by this girl who escaped from the mine and literally just stumbles across Chewie and is like, please help us. And of course, Chewie, being the big, lovable softy that he is, agrees. And as I said, hijinks ensue. But of course, it isn't as simple as slavers. As I mentioned, the head of the slavers, he's working a deal with the Empire. So the Empire gets involved, and Chewie basically blows up a Star Destroyer, which is kind of cool. Yeah, they basically set up some bombs, and Chewie takes out a scout walker. It's really cool. The action in it is very well done. You really see that Chewie is more than just a co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon. Chewie is a force to be reckoned with in his own right. So he and this girl working together really managed to do a number on the slavers, and also, again, on the Star Destroyer that they run across. As far as what the mission is, he's basically going to, I don't think it was Kashyyyk, because that would clearly have been overrun by the Empire by now. But to somewhere where there's a whole lot of Wookiees, and he's delivering something of importance to one of his fellow Wookiees, and you see just a little bit of the relationship that he has with them. And the very end, I really like it. It's a little bit touching, just because you see, I guess, again, Chewie's interaction with members of his own race, which, again, this is one of the few times that we've seen it. Recently, we saw that in Solo a little bit, and you could kind of count the prequels with this cameo there, but it was a very quick cameo, and there was really, he didn't really do anything except escort Yoda to his pod. But anyway, one of the interesting things about this is it makes no attempt to translate Wookiee at all. It's all still roars and grumbles and everything. And you just have to, along with the girl that he winds up hanging out with, you try to figure out what Chewie is saying along with her, which I thought was cool. It's like, yeah, I guess I don't need to know exactly what the Wookiee is saying. Seeing Chewie in action is enough to convey his feelings on things. Trust me on this. So anyway, definitely go and check out that Chewbacca miniseries from 2015. The main plot, like I said, it's a little goofy, especially towards the end. But just seeing Chewie out of Han's shadow, doing his own thing, and really just tearing these slavers and the Empire's, figuratively and a little bit literally, arms off, is worth it in its own right. So again, go ahead, and if you can find a physical copy, awesome. If not, go check that sucker out on Comixology. And I'll be back next time with a quick review of the miniseries from the same era, Vader Down, which is, of course, focused on none other than Lord of the Sith himself, Darth Vader. And until then, may the Force be with you.